taught me amazing things. They've shown me that equines are the bridge to a deeper understanding of the meaning of life and a better sense of ourselves in this world. I'm Meredith Hodges, and I'd like to share with you some of the people I've met and the experiences that I've had along life's journey with those magnificent mules.
Nestled at the foot of the majestic Sierra Nevada mountains, the sleepy town of Bishop is pretty much the way it's always been. That is, until Memorial Day weekend rolls around. Then it's hang on to your hats because Bishop Mule Days is coming to town.
Mule Day, baby! Mule Day!
For almost 40 years, this week-long event has thrilled spectators and competitors alike.
Let's go!
But just how did it all get started?
We'd had a very big snow year in '69 and lots of damage to buildings in the mountains. And most of us needed to talk to a banker about money to open in 1970. Let the bankers know that we're still alive.
Several of the packers got together and decided that it was going to be a way to help the town with some income and celebration of the beginning of packing season. So they put together this small community event.
The parade lasted 20 minutes and the show had horses in it and some gymkhana things, so we'd have some kids and their parents around, and the mule events were very popular, and that made the foundation for the success of Mule Days.
Bishop was a small town, as it is now, that didn't have too much activity in the area during the springtime. So they rented the fairgrounds for something like $50.
I've seen it grow from a 2-hour show on a Sunday afternoon to what you see now, from 200-300 attendants to over 5,000 attendants at the shows, and probably over 30,000 people coming to town.
We actually start planning for the following year during the event, and it is a 12-month process.
For this event to take place, it takes over 700 volunteers. There are 3 paid staff members. We've got 13 executive board members that oversee it.
We have reached capacity on the fairgrounds. We're looking for some additional ground that the fairgrounds can probably pick up so that we can expand. But what we're concentrating more on is the quality of the show.
And Mule Days gives back to different organizations, the different school groups, the sports groups. We hire them, and it's a big fundraiser for them. It helps them to fund their sports programs and their dance teams and cheerleaders and such.
You could put on a mule show any place and it could look like a horse show. And when you get these events that have all this packing and all these different things mixed in it, it's definitely what makes Mule Days a different thing than just a horse show.
I've tried to spot for you.
The camaraderie with mule people is unbelievable.
No, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Even our local law enforcement people will tell you it's the most well-behaved large group they've ever seen.
We had trophies for years and no money involved in showing animals. And if we had a problem, we gave them another trophy and life went on. Once you put money into the deal, things change a great deal, and we've stayed away from most of that.
The best part for me is I just have a fun time. It's a labor of love. And I've met so many friends over the years that I only get to see usually once a year, so it's just real exciting to anticipate their arrival again.
To be entertained and have fun. And I think that's an underlying current of Mule Days, and that alone has made it a success, because we don't take anybody too seriously, and And you try to keep things being fun.
Every world-class sport has its superstars, and the champions of Bishop Mule Days are no exception. What does it take to make it to the top in this competitive, demanding event? We'll find out when we come back. Just beneath the tradition and beauty of Bishop Mule Days English classes beats the heart of a daring go-for-broke competition. One of the sport's fiercest competitors, Lou Moore Jacobson, knows what it takes to be an English jumping world champion.
I'd like to introduce Lou Moore Jacobson from Templeton, California. Lou, can you tell us how you got into mules?
Well, we had a horse stolen when I was 13, and at the time we had a mule that my dad and a friend had bought as a partnership, but didn't really know what to do with him. So they put me on him. And when the detective on the case found out who was riding that mule, she asked if I would be interested in exercising and getting her mules conditioned for the races at Bishop's. So it's been fun. I've met a lot of friends and really enjoy the mules, and I do pretty much half and half mules and horses still in the training business.
So in the earlier shows, what kinds of events did they offer, like back in 78, 79?
Well, the jumping was getting started. They had the English pleasure, Western pleasure, some of the roping and cutting and all that, and a lot of races. They started with the races and the packing, and that's how I got introduced to it, was with the race mules behind the scenes.
So you didn't actually ride in the races then?
No, I didn't do any of the actual riding here, but I would get them conditioned and start them out of the gates and that type thing. And that's how I got started coming. The first mule I showed was Empress Josephine, who I then ended up owning. And you remember her well, I'm sure.
Very well.
She was a hard act to follow. If
Yes,
she
she
hadn't
was.
been the first one, it might not have been quite as endearing into this business as it has been.
I was so impressed with you and Josephine that I thought if I could just beat Lou and Josephine just once.
She was one of a kind. I'm showing her full sister here. She just won the jumpers yesterday.
And her name?
She's Spots Illustrated, and she's now 19 years old.
Why don't you explain some of the differences in the jumping classes, the different jumping classes they offer here?
Now they're offering what's called warm-up hunters and working hunters, but then they also offer the Gambler's Choice on Sunday. You earn points by jumping different type fences that they point accordingly to the difficulty of the fence.
When you get up there for a class like that where the points, the Gambler's Choice, where the points are involved, you really have to sit outside there and plan your course of action.
It's got to be a strategy because you're only allowed to jump each fence twice. You can't jump it back to back, so you have to put another jump in between it.
The 200 bonus.
And you want to get all your high point fences out of the way first, but you also have to know your animal, that if you go and jump that big fence first and knock it down, you've just lost all your points for that jump. You can't go back and jump it. So you do have to sit there and figure out your strategy. And then also give yourself a backup plan for if something goes wrong, then you can jump in and start on that second plan and still come out within point scale that helps you win. It sounds like forever in one way and goes by way too fast in another. And then there's also the strategy of going in and messing the other guys up so that they try to follow your path. If you go early in the class, you can make it harder on the riders that follow you and maybe blow their strategy a little bit. They see it work for you, and if it doesn't suit their mule, then it may not work for them. So you do have to go according to your animal's ability and what suits their personality. And you have a short amount of time to plan for your
Yeah, because they don't
class.
give it to you the day
Not
before
very far
or
ahead,
anything like that.
and even on paper it looks different than what's actually in the arena. So we only get to see it when we walk out there for the first time a few minutes before the class, and they give us a chance to walk it, but you still don't have more than a few minutes to plan what you're going to do. So it makes it fun and interesting, and the mules always throw in a little extra levity. They're pretty good at doing what you want as long as it's their idea.
Oh yeah, that sense of humor.
Yeah, that's right.
When we come back, we'll hear from a Hall of Fame veteran of Bishop Mule Days who's brought more than one mule up through the ranks to become a world champion. If four-time world champion Vaughn Twitchell makes it look easy, that's because for Vaughn, it's all about the pride and joy of competing.
Well, here we are at Bishop Mule Days with Vaughn Twitchell from Pine Bluffs, Wyoming. Vaughn, you had a mule, Miss Kitty, that was inducted into the Bishop Hall of Fame, and we'd like to hear about that mule.
Well, I bought her from a hippie.
You bought her from a hippie?
I bought her from a hippie. They was going to farm with her. And she was 4 years old, and I brought her for $400. And 4 years later, I brought her down here, and we was world champion. And she was 4-time world champion down here, 3-time reserve world champion. At 19 years old, she won the world champion Gymkhana mule here. And when she was 20, I think she was 23, I retired her and started riding this mule here. And I've been riding her ever since.
Where did Silky come from?
I raised her myself. I seen her drop on the ground, you know, and I told the wife, I says, that's my replacement right there.
Miss Kitty.
And so when she was a 3-year-old, I started her, and at 4-year-old, I started showing her in snaffle, and I was taking everything there was, and she's been winning ever since.
Tell people that don't know about these kinds of events that you were in, this Gymkhana. What kind of events are these for the person that doesn't know?
I run barrels and I run poles and keyhole with her. And then I get in all the cattle classes, team roping, steer stopping, cow working, and she does it all. She would probably go into English and all of that, but after I retired Kitty, why, I says, I'm just going to have fun, you know.
You just didn't want to put the britches on, huh?
That's it. That's it.
Well, the other thing you've been doing for a lot of years, too, is carrying the American flag here at Bishop.
Well, I have, yes. I don't know how many years, but it's been many a year that I've carried the American flag.
And one year you asked me to carry the flags with you.
I said I need a pretty girl to carry that flag with me.
Yeah.
And you come out and gave me a hand.
Oh, you betcha. You betcha. And then, too, the drill team.
And the drill team. I've been in the drill team ever since it started with Sarge, you know.
Yeah. Tell people how that works, because that's rather unique.
Well, I don't know exactly how it works. Sarge always put it together, you know.
You towards the back, go on to the back. Okay. Hold it. Not you guys, keep going. These are your partners. Okay, no talking. Okay, right now, follow the mule in front of you. Here we go. California inside, back, start to close up. Of course, this will be done in the middle, right, group? They're gonna go left, you're gonna go right. All right. So when you get up here, just pair off this way and come in through the, and we'll do the wheel. Single file. That's good. Okay, come right in together, right in. Now pop and go left. Go together, go left. Left, other left. On, come around.
You had 30 minutes practice and maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and then you come out and you did what you did, you know. I mean, you got what you see.
Pretty cool. You don't think that Von Twitchell isn't diversified? He came from California, lives in Colorado, carried the Arkansas flag.
But it was always fun.
They always gave you the hard part, though. In the wheel, when you all get lined
I
up
was
and
always on the
put you on the
outside.
far outside, had to run the fastest.
But we would get it done. Oh, well, I guess this year is just about the most special, being Grand Marshal of Bishop Mule Days.
That's right, you are.
I've seen a lot of politicians and movie actors, and now they grab this old country boy and want him to be marshal.
But there's no one more deserving than you, Vaughn.
So anyhow, it was quite an honor when they asked me to.
That's awesome. So have you got any good tips for anybody that might want to get out there and get into mules? And
Well, one tip I've got, you got to start at the bottom. I went to many a show, and the people that put the shows on, they say, well, we can't compete with you. And I says, hey, I started down at the bottom.
That's right.
And you got to work your way up.
That's right. That's good advice, Vaughn.
Yeah, you can't go into an arena on a green mule and expect to take the class. You've got to work at it at home, and then you come here, and then you start doing something.
Yeah, exactly.
And it takes a lot of hours at home.
It truly does.
Bet. And just when you think you're good, somebody's going to beat you.
Well, that's exactly right. Keeps you honest, huh? For sure.
Up next, side saddle champion Crystal Ward knew right off the bat that she could win with mules. For side saddle superstar Crystal Ward, a love for showing mules came easy. But now she's making plenty of room on her winning team for the big-hearted, surprisingly competitive donkey.
We're here today with Crystal Ward from Placerville, California. And Crystal, can you give us a little information about how you first got involved with mules?
My first start with mules was when I originally came to Mule Days here. And it was back in 1979, coming through here on a vacation. And I was hooked with them, intrigued with them, and I knew I had to have one. The following year, came back, had a horse trailer in tow, and tried to find out what little information was out there back then in the 80s. We were intrigued with how you can train them similar to a horse, and in some cases, like trail classes, they can excel much better than a horse. But at that point, it was a matter of learning English, Western, side saddle, the whole 9 yards. Back in the early 80s, I got real interested in riding side saddle. So I joined the International Side Saddle Organization and tried to do it to the best of my ability and the best of my mule's ability. So it's a matter of picking and choosing till you find that right mule, and at that point, money can't touch that mule. You're in it for the long haul, and I've had several mules that have treated me well, and I've treated them well, and you know they have a life forever in your home. In more recent years, I've switched more so to the donkeys. Right now at home, I have a good variety of miniature donkeys all the way up to the mammoths. And donkeys are a unique breed. You can't just train them like a horse, and you have to just take a little bit different perspective approach to training a donkey. To me, that's the challenge and the uniqueness of owning a donkey. Real honestly, I like all the equines. I can't live without them, but right now where I'm at is I really appreciate a good donkey.
We have to make one point, too, I'm sure, that if you decide that you want to have a donkey, we should always make sure we have good neighbors.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have people that contact me, and if they have a loud donkey and they live in the mountains, we call them mountain canaries. If they live in the flatland, they're desert canaries, but that goes hand in hand with donkeys. I mean, they do like to talk, and it can be loud. But I'll still take a donkey any day, and I live with the noise. But again, I'll have peacocks or barking dogs and roosters in my backyard, and it's just one more farm animal that I can certainly live with.
That's right. Well, Crystal, I want to thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you,
been wonderful.
Just a trip down memory lane. I know we were showing back in the early 80s and beating the paths out here at Mule Days. And the one thing I can say about mule people and donkey people, that competing out here, it's a fun competition and a nice rivalry. And I know you can say this, that when we come out of a class and your fellow competitors will shake your hand, they'll maybe offer a little bit of encouragement if you didn't have a good go. It's like family when you show at a mule show or a donkey show. And
That's right.
That's the fun part about any of this kind of competition. It's something you look forward to next time you come again.
No tribute to the Bishop Mule Days All-Stars would be complete without a huge thank you to the men and women who started it all, the mighty Packers. When they thought up a way to help their town out of a tough spot, no one could have imagined that their brainchild would grow into the world-class event it is today. Be sure to join us next time when Meredith catches up with more of the Bishop All-Stars on those magnificent mules.